We inhabit a world of objects. Objects are all around us all the time. Chairs and desks and lamps and doors, cars and bikes and buses and pedestrians, dogs and cats and birds and fish, restaurants and gas stations and bookstores and houses. Take a moment to think about some of the things around you right now and list the first 5 objects that you notice. I'll give you a moment. There are many types and categories or classes of objects as well. Many types of chairs and many types of cars and dogs and restaurants. But all objects have some things in common. All objects have a state or attributes. Things like size, color, shape, and speed. Not all objects have the same attributes, but all objects have some attributes. And all objects have behavior or operations. For example, a ball can bounce and roll and inflate and deflate, while dogs can bark and run and sleep and fetch. Again, not all objects have the same behavior or operations, but all objects have some behavior. Perhaps you've noticed a ceiling fan in the room. This fan has some attributes or state. For example, it may be on or off right now. And if it's on, then it may be on high speed or low speed. This fan also has some behavior, operations. It can turn on and it can turn off. And when on, it can switch between high speed and low speed. Some objects have many attributes and some only have a few. Some objects have complex behaviors and some have very simple behaviors. Notice that some objects also contain or are made up of other objects. And notice that some objects are very similar to others, while some objects are very unique. For each of the objects that you noticed a moment ago, take some time to identify some of the attributes and operations of those objects. Write down a description of each object, listing its attributes, its states, and its operations, its behaviors. It's worth taking some time to do this. It's a very natural and common way for us to think about the world, thinking in terms of the objects that make up the world and how they interact. At the same time, it's very unnatural for us to think about the world in terms of variables and functions. But this is often what we're forced to do as programmers. This dichotomy is the source of many significant challenges when it comes to designing and implementing programs to help us solve the problems that we face in the world. These problems may be as simple as figuring out how much mozzarella cheese to order for our pizza restaurant this month so that we have enough to make all the pizzas that we expect our customers will order, but not too much so that the cheese spoils before we have a chance to use it. These problems might be as complex as figuring out which combination of medicines and treatments is best suited to a particular patient's cancer. In trying to solve almost any kind of a problem, we would rather think and talk in terms of the objects involved and their state and behavior, their attributes and operations, rather than in terms of variables and functions made with decisions and loops. We'd much rather talk in terms of customers and orders and pizzas and quantities of cheese than in terms of assignment statements and expressions and conditions and arguments and return values. Object-oriented programming allows us to take a big step in this direction, to approach a solution to a problem by focusing on the objects involved. In object-oriented programming, we create software objects that model real-world objects which they represent. In Java, software objects store their state, their attributes, in variables, and they manage their operations, their behaviors, by containing those in functions. And we're already familiar with variables and functions, so we already have a big head start on object-oriented programming.